So, Mark, did you see that big fire at the Planet Hollywood Miracle Mile Shop's parking garage? A lot of vehicles were damaged. We saw the aftermath. Crazy stuff.
Hey, you take away free parking and people are going to burn your garage down. That's the real truth here.
Of course, I saw on Twitter everybody blaming electric cars, even though they don't know. Vital Vegas blames something else, people smoking in the garage. But it was pretty impressive, the amount of smoke. And I imagine everybody parked in that garage. Their cars now smell like smoke, even if they weren't by the fire.
Yeah, my favorite Vegas garage parking story is I don't remember if you remember like a couple years ago, the woman pushed the gas to go forward and like drove through the barrier and was like the car was like leaning up against the wall to the shopping center or something. It was just nuts.
Yeah, Vegas parking garages are a culture unto themselves. So, Mark, of course, every news item has been Formula One, it seems like, since they announced the race. And we have 3 years of guaranteed races: 2023, 2024, and 2025. But the Clark County Commission has moved to make the race stay a 10-year commitment, allowing Formula One to kind of commit longer term. Of course, they're building that paddock, that permanent sort of building in Las Vegas. And basically, the race will be held the weekend before Thanksgiving every year for the next 10 years. Now, I don't think Formula One has committed to the 10 years, but this is them allowing kind of in the law for that to happen and for that weekend to be set aside.
I mean, it would make a lot of sense with how much money effort they're putting into getting this set up. For it only to be there for 3 years wouldn't make a ton of sense. And, Formula One's invested buying land and building structures and everything. So I think it'll be there long term. You never know until the ink is dry. But I think it makes too much sense not to happen. Formula One wants it. I would imagine the city definitely wants it. I think the weekend before Thanksgiving is a good one. Maybe that's a little bit of a dead period normally. People getting ready for the holidays and drinking themselves into oblivion because they have to deal with their family and all that. So
yeah, that is a good reason to go for the race to Formula One. It's interesting. I saw a graphic somewhere, and I don't know where it was, so I'm probably not going to be able to put it up on the screen, that said the Super Bowl is expected to bring in like $600 million to the economy in Las Vegas, where the race is supposed to bring in like 1.2 billion, like almost double, something like that.
Wow.
So this is going to be the biggest event in Vegas.
That's how much Caesars is charging for their package alone, 1.2 billion.
People are going to be coming here crazy. Private planes from everywhere. We'll talk about the airport later and what private planes are causing issues. But yeah, this is going to be good. The community's committed to it. So we'll hear more as time goes on. It did also say that there's still $30 million in capital improvements that need to be made before the race, which is stuff like sealing manholes, repaving the streets, all of that. And it seemed like the government's on the hook for that, which is sort of strange. I guess that's when you make a deal with the devil.
Yeah, just think about like if they're going too fast and the manhole whips up and hits somebody in the head. Maybe they'll widen the streets while they're doing it. What do you think?
Or close them off. Whatever. Do something. All right, Mark, I have to tell you a rule of Las Vegas. If a woman in a casino offers to give you a massage and go back to the room for $100, don't bring her back to the room, right? You would think this would be common sense at this point, but we have another story. Guy's in a casino. Woman says, "Oh, I'll give you a massage for $100." He then says after the massage that it wasn't worth $100. So she's like, "I'll go up to the room and do some more for your friends." I guess flash boobies in his face or something like that. I mean, the story is insane.
You can get that for $1 at the VU, guy. Okay.
I wonder how much of this is like 100% true and how much of it he's just like leaving details out. But basically, he brings the girl who gave him a massage and her friend up to his room. His friends are in there sleeping. He goes back to the casino. They rob like a watch, like $50,000 in casino chips, altogether over $100,000 worth of stuff. And eventually police tracked her down and she gets charged with it. But man, people got to make better decisions in Vegas, I think.
Yeah, we had a story like this not too long ago, like 6 months ago, something similar. I'm just questioning, like, how do they get into the safe? It's all, number coded. Like, how are they breaking into this safe? It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like, did they leave it unlocked? Were they trying to flash their stuff and flaunt it? Like, it's just bad decision after bad decision for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. All the casino chips, a lot of the stuff was in the safe. I think most of it was in the safe, and then one of the guys got his wallet kind of robbed. But yeah, bad decisions. I've been to a couple of Vegas bachelor parties where I've seen similar bad decisions. I'll just say that. Guys acting like fools, and yeah, it's not worth it.
We need details. Details.
I'm not allowed to tell. I will just say it wasn't me, and it's not my It's not my thing. I don't like to watch guys act like fools, but something
Hey,
about Las Vegas makes them
the
do it.
Shaggy song, it wasn't me, right?
Exactly, exactly. Or did you see that we talked a couple weeks ago about the Wildfire Fremont opening the newest casino in Las Vegas, but the Lucky Club up in North Las Vegas closed a little while back and has been rethemed as the Ojos Locos Casino, which is the first Latino casino targeting the Latino market. Ojos Locos, they kind of describe as the Latino Hooters, and I didn't even know this. They have 18 locations, mostly in Texas, I think. That's where they're from. But, scantily clad women serving good food, sports on the TV, that sort of thing. So the whole casino is kind of that concept. It's owned by Fifth Street Gaming, who owns Downtown Grand, the Silver Nugget, Evil Pie, Triple George Grill. So, and they've owned this property, I think, for like 15 years. They finally figured out how to kind of renovate it into something that they think will work. And it's 10,000 square foot casino, kind of small, but seems like a cool concept. And it's a way to refresh an old property that needed a lot of help.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not just an IHOP going in. You know, this sounds like a cool restaurant, cool restaurant that hopefully makes the top 10 or top 20 best Mexican restaurants in Vegas next year, type of thing. It looks really cool. It sounds good. I mean, it's a market that is probably underserved or not really focused on. So I'm glad to see that, and definitely seems like something that will maybe be a bit fun. I know they're planning to open the Tequila Garden with outdoor music and everything for Mexican Independence Day. And we were just down there in Mexico City for that, and it was, an amazing time, amazing experience. So I think that'd be really cool, something else to check out in the future. But, I would definitely go hang out there, I think.
Yeah, it looks cool, unique, and I definitely want to go up there and check it out and have a meal and take in the atmosphere there. So we will go do that. Maybe I'll share it on a future show. So another thing that we always like to harp on is the Grand Bazaar shops at Horseshoe, formerly Bally's, kind of a thrown together mall that was put together really cheaply. It seemed like Caesars just thought, oh, we need something out there on that corner. And they threw up a few shacks and called it a day. But it seems like it's finally going to get some love and some major renovation. We know Ole Red is getting built out there on that corner. But we also learned that there's some other changes happening, including another big building out on the corner, Bottled Blonde, which is going to open in 2024. And then another couple of big kind of retail spaces that they've opened up. Essentially, they're tearing down a lot of the smaller shops, except the ones on the outside. And they're going to try to turn this into like an outdoor entertainment food place proper, I think, instead of the way it was before.
Yeah, I think this is a good move. We both have thrown shade towards these crappy little shack stores that they've had set up for years now. But my big takeaway for, when it was Bally's and Horseshoe now is there's not a ton going on inside. Like I'd always find myself walking over to Paris and doing stuff there, and they don't have a ton of restaurant options right there. So I think this is something they really needed for that property and something to keep people there that are staying there. So I think it makes a lot of sense, and it definitely has to be an improvement. So I'm looking forward to checking out. Hopefully it's good food, cool atmosphere, good drinks, but I think this is a big win for Caesars and, something that the Horseshoe definitely needed.
So what's interesting is some of the new venues like Bourbon Street Parade. It's a venue, but I don't know if they're going to have like Mardi Gras style parades. It seems like maybe that's going to be the theme of that. There's some other things that came out. The Giordano's and Wahlburger in that spot are the number one locations in the U.S. for those brands. So those are doing pretty good. I think Sugar Factory is going to stick around. So they're really looking to kind of make this into a more of a destination instead of all those little small shops. Those will all be mostly going away, and you'll have bigger tenants, more destination type experiences. And I think it's a good thing. It definitely is an improvement. And having those big buildings at the front, Ole Red and Bottle Blonde, it does sort of give it more of a frontage, more of a feel right on the strip, and covers up some of those ugly buildings. Some of them will still be there. Some of those smaller shops along the sides, those shacks will still be there. But for the most part, this is a big improvement.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like when it's all done.
So you sent me this thing from Twitter about Vegas sprawl. I think it's a comparison of Vegas in 1984 to today. And you can really see how Las Vegas has just exploded basically in the last 40 years. And a couple takeaways from that. You can see Lake Mead go from like bigger to tiny. And you see us build out in the entire valley. And that's where we are right now, where anything new is really going to happen outside of the Las Vegas Valley as they expand towards like Lee Canyon in the north and, into Ivanpah Valley in the south. So it's just interesting to see, which kind of ties in to our main story of the week, which is the Las Vegas airport. having record passengers in 2022, 52,667,000 passengers. That's about a million more than in 2019, a new record. Most of it's domestic. I think 49 million domestic, only 2.5 million international. So still a lot of room for growth, which we'll talk about in a minute. But is this a big shock to you? I mean, Vegas, it seems like we talk about the visitor numbers, more people coming, more people spending money, and the airlines are expanding like crazy too.
Well, and I think that, more people living there plays a big role into that too. They're going places. They don't want to just be in Vegas all the time. So they travel and they come back. So you're getting a lot more flights for those people too. Like just looking at that picture is insane. Like how far away it was from the mountains. And now it's like up to the base of it essentially. So I think you're getting a mix of all that. A lot of people coming to visit still. And that doesn't even include people driving in to visit. But, a lot of people flying in to visit, a lot of people flying home, coming to visit relatives in the area and stuff. So I think it all plays a role together.
One thing I've noticed too, as the sort of the budget airlines expand, is there's more connections in Las Vegas. Previously, with American, Delta, United, the big carriers, they have their hubs, and Las Vegas isn't one of them. So the flights from those carriers would not really be a lot of connections, but a lot of Frontier and Spirit's new flights are connecting, and they're using Las Vegas more kind of in that model of a hub. And I think that's driving a lot more passengers through the airport. Southwest continue to be by far the biggest airline at the airport, almost a little over 18 million passengers in 2022, 30% change over 2021. Spirit number 2 at 7.3 million, Frontier number 3 at 5 million, then Delta, then American. All of them had really big growth in 2022 compared to 2021. And we saw other airlines like Breeze and many others kind of launch in the market, and also some international expansion as well. So all the airlines say that they're going to continue to expand. Southwest has said that they're going to massively expand over the next few years, where I don't know where they're going to put it. Are they going to get out of those sea gates? Because
where are they going to park them?
Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy amount. But the capacity of Harry Reid International Airport is somewhere between 63 and 65 million passengers a year. And it is expected that the airport will hit that by 2030. So that means that there is a pain point coming ahead. And that's the reason that they're developing this thing called the Southern Nevada Supplemental Airport. It used to be known as the Ivanpah Valley Airport, and development on it started back in the mid-2000s, but it was put on hold because of the Great Recession, and they really stopped doing any work on it in 2010, although the land, some 6,000 acres, I believe, was bought back then. And it sits somewhere between Jean and Prim, so about 30 miles from Las Vegas. This supplemental airport will be mostly cargo, so the idea is to move a lot of the cargo operations from Harry Reid Airport out there. There may be some passenger stuff as well, but here's the kicker, Mark. It's not going to be ready till 2037.
I mean, who doesn't like taking 30 years to build an airport?
I mean, an airport out in the middle of nowhere too. It's not even like it's surrounded
you don't have to knock anything down. It's already knocked down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit crazy, but right now they are in the process of doing a lot of the land work, getting the permits, doing environmental studies. I know they're working with Brightline to see if there will be a train station there, but this will be a big airport, and it's something that's absolutely needed. And the interesting thing is some of the articles this week, the airport talking about what's going to happen between 2030 and 2037. If they hit capacity in 2030, what will happen? And it's going to be some pain points. You're going to see delays on the airfield like you see at some of the bigger airports around the country. They're also trying to encourage airlines to fly bigger planes into Las Vegas so they can carry more passengers, per takeoff and landing. And they also said one of the big issues has been the increase in private jet traffic into Harry Reid Airport because of all the big events like Formula One and all these other events that we've had. And that takes up slots that could be used by commercial aircraft. So I don't know, will they maybe ban private jets from that airport, force them out to the Henderson Executive Airport or the North Las Vegas Airport? A lot to figure out, but it seems like we might have a few kind of painful years of flying in Las Vegas if they can't get that airport fast-tracked.
I still don't understand, even if you started now, how it would take that long to build an airport in the middle of the desert. But, I'm no civil engineer, but this just seems kind of crazy to me. And you would think it would be easier to move if, private jets are a problem. You think it'd be easier to move them off-site to somewhere else quicker than that. I'm sure they'll figure it out. This seems like doomsday dire predictions when I'm sure stuff will come together, or maybe the increase in traffic will level off a bit. But yeah, 2037 just seems insane for an airport to be built. in the middle of tumbleweeds.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll mean that Prim and Gene become, bedroom communities of Las Vegas because they'll have an airport there.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of international traffic is expected to eventually go there, so there will be passenger terminals. Although they say the focus will be on cargo, which will free up a lot of slots at McCarran, and they can build more terminals there. They do have room to build terminals. The old Terminal 2 site is gone, and you could potentially put something there. It's more about the runways and the takeoff and landing slots. And then let's not forget on a windy day how terrible it can be in Las Vegas with delays as they have limited takeoff and landing. So as you add more and more and the schedule becomes tighter and tighter, this could be a potential issue. And then that could hurt tourism, right? If it gets a bad reputation. Right now, Las Vegas Airport has one of the better reputations. Security lines aren't that long. It's fairly easy to get around. It's comfortable in most places. They've done a lot of work on modernizing it. So, to keep the tourism going, they need to figure this out. Hopefully they can figure out a way to get an airport before 2037, but it's not going to be a great experience. 30 miles compared to right next to the Strip, so flying into Ivanpah isn't going to be the same.
It's all international people, so they're coming off an 8, 10, 12, 20-hour flight, and then you're slapped with a 30-minute ride in a car, maybe more if that California traffic's kicking in like we've seen the last couple weeks, backed up. Or anything like that, any type of road construction. So I think if Brightline could put a train there, stop there, station, it would make a lot of sense, and that would make it a bit easier to deal with. But if I was coming in internationally, I would connect somewhere else in the U.S. and then fly to Vegas from there to just avoid that 30-minute. Yes, I would do it just to avoid that 30 minutes to an hour in a car.
So one last thing, Mark, I want to talk about this Uber scam that happened to me yesterday at Harry Reid, flying back in late at night. Maybe you hear my voice is a little weird. I got back in from my cruise late at night last night. So I open up Uber, and immediately it should be about $17, $18 to my house without any surges. It's not busy. It was late at night. And I open up Uber, $39 for Uber. So I close it, go to Lyft. Lyft is $22. I call a Lyft. All of a sudden, 30 seconds later, I get a notification from Uber. Oh, your rate has dropped by $18. So I think they're just putting in these really high rates, and then if you don't take it, they're actually going to charge you the real rate. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory, but it was frustrating to see. But I mean, it was literally like 2 minutes later that it said, "Oh, your rate dropped by $18." So I don't know.
Yeah, it has to be something like that. Like they're tracking you on your phone.
Yep.
They saw that you hit Lyft, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! Let's get it out. Put out a lower price, please." But no, I mean, everywhere I've traveled, Uber it seems like 50 to 100% more than it was 2 years ago, which I understand. They're trying to finally make some money if they ever can, and they were subsidizing a lot, but that's a big increase to get hit with, pretty much overnight. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it almost seems like some regulation is needed. There's not a lot of transparency there. Why can my rate drop, basically in half in 2 minutes? Because to your point, maybe it saw that I called Lyft, or at least it knows that I got out of the app and didn't call it. I've also had times where I've just kind of searched an address, and then I try 15 minutes later. You search what's the price, and then when you're ready for it 15 minutes later, the price is doubled, stuff like that. I think they're playing games, but I want to know what other people if they've experienced that at the airport, where they've got that notification where it dropped, or they've seen wild price switches within just a minute or two of each other. Let us know there. But let us know about what you think about the new airport. Is this going to be a good solution? Is it going to be painful? In Southern Nevada, the Grand Bazaar shops, they're also going to get a new name, by the way. We didn't say that. The Grand Bazaar shops will be renamed, but I didn't see what the new name will be. And then finally, do you bring women to your room for a massage? No.
The Horseshoe Pit. That's what they should call it.
I don't know the pit.
The pit. Sounds cool. Horseshoe Pit. Let's go.
All right. If they use it, they'll have to owe you royalties. So we'll see.
Go. Trademark it right now.
Let us know in the comments what you think about any of these stories. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, tell a friend about this show. We're doing 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll be back in just a few days with the new show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
See you next time.